Greetings and welcome to the online Clever PD. And today I want to talk to you about Clever, what it is, how do I set up my page, how do I get to the badges that my students might need, and some common questions that you might have. So we'll answer those today. So first of all, what is Clever? Well, Clever is a very handy piece of software that allows us to put apps all in one place. So all apps typically, before Clever, all apps would have to be set up differently. And teachers and students would have to log into each individual app or program. So Clever streamlines the process. So with Clever, students and teachers can access any digital resource used in the district or for your own personal use, and it's all in one centralized location. And then the student and you can access these apps all in one place. So let's check out where you can find Clever. You can look in your staff shortcuts and you can see Clever's right down here at the bottom. But I'm also going to move over to my bookmarks bar and I can find that Clever has been pushed out. So I'm going to click here. And that's how I'm going to access Clever. Now there's a couple of different ways that I can access Clever. The first way I'm going to show you is with a badge. And I recommend this for pre-K through 1, especially if you have an iPad. This is a very easy way for your students to log in. If you're wanting to use badges for grades 5 through 12, then you will log in the same way, but you will have to, and your students will have to create a 6-digit PIN. So that's not necessarily as handy as if they log in with Google. So I would not recommend students other than pre-K, K, and 1 using the Clever Badge login. So I'm going to click on the Clever Badge login. And you can see that my camera has been activated, and I'm going to hold my badge up to my camera. So I'm going to hold that up, and I can automatically get into Clever. So you can see that I am in Clever. This is what this particular student receives. This particular student is in grade K. You can see my Lexia, my Discovery Ed, my Study Island, my Reflex, my World Book Online. Those are the things that this student is automatically going to see. So this is the Clever portal for this particular person. Let's go back to the login, and let me log this person out very quickly. And let's go back. So here I am back at my login. I'm going to go to login with Google because this is the main way that you want your students' grades 2 through 12 to access Clever. I'll click on my account that I'm going to use, and it takes a minute or two. Sometimes with the students it takes a little longer. This is the first time that they've used Clever. So your landing page looks like this. Clever Academy is a list of lessons that you can go through. You can see that I have done a couple of these. This is my page. I have learned how to share my resources with my students. Then I can move on to lesson 2, which I can help my students log in, lesson 3, and then once I'm done, then I will have passed the Clever Academy. My landing page has these apps that are set for the high school. So whatever school that you're in, whatever building, you're going to have your own set of apps. So elementary typically has, or each grade level typically has certain apps that are set up. So mine were a little different from the person's login that I used prior. I'm going to move over here, move the screen over here, and you can see that I can help a student. So I can click here, and if I have a student that needs help logging in for whatever reason, if the badge isn't working or the student needs to log in again, maybe the student has moved away and is now back, I can click here and I can choose a student, click here, and then it will help me get this code. And now you'll see when you're looking at this, everything will be blurred out except this code, and that is the code that you would give your student. So that's a backup code. Let's go ahead and click back. You also can get Clever resources. You have some training videos that are available. There's a teacher community. You have a little more information about what Clever is. If you're having issues and you need to have a troubleshooting guide, you can have that here, find that there. Teacher Help Center, class login instructions, and then you can see you also have classroom resources where you can get a printable Clever classroom login poster and then other classroom resources emailed directly to your inbox. So let's move up a little bit. I want to take you to the library. In the library, you can see what is most popular in the district, and it's interesting because I have just downloaded Sutori because my students use it and I use code.org. So it's most popular is what we're doing right now. It'll be interesting to see once more people get in what is a little more popular. We're going to browse down by the subject. I can also look for subjects and say I'm wanting to find some presentation apps. You can see quizzes, you can see SchoolTube. These are new and noteworthy. I also have most popular. I have all of the presentation resources available, and you can see that they are listed not in alphabetical order necessarily, and then I also have 2 pages of them to look through. So that's interesting and noteworthy. I'm going to move you back up here. We'll get back to the landing page. So that was the first page that I took you to with the Clever Academy, and then with the apps that you could see for your school. So that's back to the landing page. We'll move it over again and back to my classes. So these are my classes, my information tech support classes. And I'll move this screen over. So a couple of different things to note about the different classes. Let me run that back again. One of the things I can do with my class is launch an app. So if there's an app on here that I'm wanting to send to every single one of my students, I can click on this. The only thing that they have to have open is that Clever app, the portal tab. So once that Clever portal tab, you can have them all have that open. And then if you want to send them Study Island, and they need to be working on something that you've assigned, you can have them click here. Also, I'll go back, move my screen over. I can click on the class and you can see my class information. I'll move it on over. I can also launch the application from here. Now these are the applications that you can launch. Those are the ones that the district has given basically out for launching. You can also work with your own students on that. You can see your students rostered in your class. I have that blurred out because I don't want to share that information, and it's private. Also, private information is on the screen that you will not see. It's over to the right. This information is brought in from Skyward. So there's student information from date of birth, their email address, the parent's email address, and parent's phone number. So I keep that pretty well. I'm going to keep that hidden right now. If I want to download a class set of badges, this is where I would find that, and you click here, and then it automatically will go, I'm on my desktop, so it's going to go down here to the badges. Let's see if I can show you that. And you can see the Clever badges have been downloaded. I can click on that, and I won't open it up because I'll have my student names on that, but it's a list of your students, and each student has a PDF assigned to him or her, and you would take that badge, that PDF, and then you could cut it up, or you could just have it there and your students can log in using that badge information. Okay, moving back up and over. I'm going into my page, and let's move over to the name of my class. And you can name this whatever you want. This is the title of my page, so you can name it your name, your classes. You can name your grade level, whatever you want to do. And then underneath that is the student technology team, which is a little more of a page description. Again, you can add that. You don't have to. I also have different category titles, And I will show you how to work that here in a few minutes. I have my individual learning endeavor, and I will show you how to add items to this unit. And then my class resources. And you can see I have several class resources. Now I'll move that down and over. I also have general resources, and you can decide where you want to move things. So if I would like to move the Google Drive up to my class resources, all I have to do is slide that up, and then I'll move my screen, and you can see that that is now in my class resources. You also see that I have 2 Google Drives. So right now is a good time to show you how this works. If I want to delete something, if I'm done using it and I want to delete it, I click the edit button, and then I'm going to roll the screen over here to the other side, and it says that I can edit the resource. So just to edit the resource, I click on this down arrow and I delete the resource, and once I've done that, then that resource is no longer there. Also on this other side, this is where you can decide whether you want to make what you have available to students or not. So if you're wanting your students to see what is on your page, then you need to turn this on. You can see that you can have an activity of the week. You can link to lectures, which is awesome. You can add a homework link, and you can add different resources. So let's head down here and I'll show you how to do that. I click here, and the first thing I want to do is to add Edpuzzle to my individual learning endeavor, because I want them to be using Edpuzzle when they do that. So I can start looking for Edpuzzle. It automatically comes up. I can click on that and next. And as Edpuzzle is hosted within Clever, I can just click on the Edpuzzle icon. The title is here, the URL is here. The only other thing that I'm required to do is to choose where I want to put it. If I don't want any of these 3 topics or categories, then I can start typing the name, the first letter, say, of the new category, and then I can click right here to create a new category. But right now I'm happy with my individual learning endeavor, so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to add that as a resource. So let me move this back, and I want to show you that it is now showing up in my individual learning endeavor. So moving back, the next thing I want to do is to add a hyperdoc that I created for my class that talks about the individual learning endeavor assignment. So I'm going to say I'm going to add a resource, and then I'm going to move the screen up here, and I'm going to go to the information, text supports, individual learning endeavor hyperdoc. I'm going to the share. And right now I have anyone with the link can view. I'm happy with that. So I'm highlighting that. I'm holding down the control button and the C. And then I say that I'm done. So I'm going to click out of that. I will move back to my Clever page. And let me move my screen over again. So you can see. I'm going to click, and then I'm holding my control button down and V, and it says create a custom link. So I click on that, and here's my custom link. I'm going to say next, and then I notice there in red maximum 30 characters. So I don't want that for my title anyway. So I can just delete all of this, highlight it and delete it. And it was a long one. And this is going to be called my individual learning endeavor. I have my URL. The only other thing that I need to choose is what category it needs to be in, and I'm wanting that in my individual learning endeavor. I can click add resource. So once I have done that, I can click right back over here and show you my individual learning endeavor unit, and here it is. So when I click on this, this takes me, it opens up another tab, and it takes me to my hyperdoc that I created for my students for their individual learning endeavor. So let's head back. One other thing on the page that I haven't shown you yet, over here on the other side, I'll move it over a little bit, you can move your categories up or down however you want them. You also can delete your entire category right here. And that's how that works. So any site that you really want to add, you can add. I'm going to choose Pinterest because I know even though our students don't have access to Pinterest, we use Pinterest a lot to get our ideas. So I'm going to add Pinterest. And the first thing I need to do, and you can't just put Pinterest in or www.pinterest.com. You have to find Pinterest. So I'm going to go ahead and find Pinterest. See that if I click here, I should be able to get to Pinterest.com. And here I am. I'm going to grab Control-C and then go back to my Clever, Control-V. Another thing that you want to do before you add a link that is not listed within the Clever app is to make sure that you have some kind of image. So I'm going to create my custom link. I'm going to click Next. And I have already gone out and uploaded an image, but you can upload an image, whichever you want. Move this back over so you can see. I have housed an image on my desktop. So here is the Pinterest. I'm going to open that. I'll move this back. And here is the Pinterest icon. It's already clicked on, so I don't have to do anything. The title, I'm just going to say that it's Pinterest. And it automatically defaults to the URL, so you'll probably want to change that. And my required, I'm going to add that to my general resources. And then I'm going to add that as a resource. Let me roll this back so you can see it. And in general resources, there's my Pinterest. And then that's how you can add what you need. Again, if you want to delete it, there's an edit button right under that. You would just delete it from there. Study Island, Edmentum, and Reading Eggs, those apps are coming soon. They will be here very shortly. And once those are there, then you'll be able to use those. And Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way is available for those who teach Project Lead the Way classes. So you can go out and look for that. It's my PLTW to find that. And it was listed on some of the apps earlier. So I think that pretty much covers it. Here's where you log out. You can click here, you can log out. If you have any questions, please be sure and let me know. And I hope you find that this is very, very helpful because I know that I will be using it a lot. So thanks. Have a great day.